I think baby loss is such an important topic, but we don't talk about it, do we? I'm not sure why that is, that it's such a taboo, and more than anything, I want to share my story of God's goodness in the time of multiple miscarriages, to show other women in similar situations that God's heart is for the broken and the grieving and the questioning and for the disillusioned. God is in it all. Hi, I'm Kate, and this is my story of the goodness of God in my season of baby loss. When I was a little girl, if you'd asked me what I wanted to be Ariel from The Little Mermaid, and I wanted to be a mummy. When my husband and I got married, a few years later, we started to talk about having kids, and it was a total no-brainer for me. I was all for starting the dream of a house full of little ones. When I found out I was expecting our first child, I can remember running out onto the yard to tell my husband in my bare feet in the middle of January. I was ecstatic. I never thought that anything could go wrong. Everything went well at first, but shortly before 9 weeks, it became very evident that everything was not as it should be, and subsequently, I miscarried. I was sitting in the hospital at 3 a.m. thinking, how could God let this happen to us? Haven't we served him? Haven't we loved him? Why would he give us a child just for him to take it away again in such a cruel way? And yet in that moment, I can honestly say I have never felt him so close. Like a blanket around my shivering shoulders, he was there. And we started our journey of God teaching me that he is always, forever, unshakably good. In the days after, I can remember listening a lot to a song by Hillsong called Desert Song, the tag of which is all of my life, in every season, you are still God, and I have a reason to sing. I have a reason to worship. That Sunday at church, we sang Blessed Be Your Name, and after staying silent the first time, I can remember lifting my hands and singing, You give and take away, blessed be your name, and just praying that my heart would actually catch up with my mouth. Over the next few years, my husband and I went through a number of miscarriages, all early on, all painful, physically and mentally. My body and my heart were in the boxing ring, but I knew I had the victory in Jesus. Worship became my battlefield. I became a warrior of declaring truth over my and others' lives as I led from the front or worshipped in the congregation. I was determined that God still deserved my praise, no matter what I walked through. In return, he was unswervingly kind to me. He comforted me, he provided incredible people around me to walk alongside me. He sat with me in long nights in hospital rooms when I was bracing myself at the sight of another positive pregnancy test, and when I was hearing those words over and over, I'm sorry, but there is no heartbeat. He went from being the one I blamed to the one I ran to, because I had learned through my declaration, my decision, my experience, that he was for me. He loved me and he was working all things for my good. And he did. You know, I am forever thankful for what God taught me in the desert places. And now, when I face trials in my difficult times, I draw on that. I go back to what I know. He is so, so good. We did go on to have 2 amazing little boys who were prophesied over us multiple times, once when I was already unknowingly carrying my eldest already. But they aren't the ultimate prize in this journey. The ultimate prize, the deepest treasure, is knowing Jesus in a deeper way. Knowing his purposes to make me more like himself, and to know that he holds all things together. I still have questions, I still grieve, but not without hope, and I press on to what God has ahead of me, knowing that he will work it all for his glory.